Do you want Kingfisher to be saved? Tonight on the News Hour, I'm joined by, let's have our panel on. We have our experienced panel on tonight. I'm being joined by Jitendra Bhargava, formerly with Air India, former director Air India. We have Captain Gopinath, the man who started Air Deccan, who's an airline, I would say, the managing director of Deccan Aviation, but beyond that, an aviation entrepreneur. Ashwini Kakkar, travel man, head of Mercury Travels. Thank you very much, giving us the tourism perspective tonight. I have Mohammed Salim, leader of the CPIM tonight, giving us a consumer perspective, is Bejon Misra, consumer expert. And we have all our other participants tonight. I have a very simple question first. Simple question. Captain Gopinath, is it my responsibility as a taxpayer to save Vijay Mallya? If Vijay Mallya has got his business wrong, why should I, as in my government, with my taxpayer money, try and help him?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think the government should save either Kingfisher or Air India. You know, Air India is not India. You can't mortgage the interests of the nation for 20,000 employees. But having said that, you know, as you rightly said, Kingfisher had a great brand, a great network, a great product and service. But obviously, you know, the government can't pay taxpayers' money. But having said that, I think the government must look at the aviation sector at large and do all the systemic changes. You know, airport charges are runaway. There are monopolistic tendencies in airports. Oil prices are absolutely, you know, there's no competition in the oil sector, so oil prices are high. Sales tax is 30%. So they should do it for the sector.
Not for an airline.
You can't. Not for an airline, because
now,
then you're.
But the question is,
then you're going to support.
The question is, Captain Gopinath, now if you do it, now if you are saying we are going to talk, it's very clear, it's not being done for the sector. It is being done for Vijay Mallya. Do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts there, Jitendra Bhargava, that if it happens now, it's going to be done for Vijay Mallya, not for the sector? The sector has been bleeding for a long time.
Arnab, you're very right. Yes, the sector has been bleeding for a long time, and the government should have intervened much earlier. Let's take the industry as a whole and not just Kingfisher. Okay, Kingfisher's problems are manifested and brought the problem to the center stage. But one could see it coming. Look at the kind of financial results that Jet has declared today, SpiceJet has declared. A huge increase in losses in the last quarter. Now, in the previous quarter, also they suffered losses. Now, the fact is, yes, one could say Kingfisher's business model is not the right one for the Indian industry. But the reality is also that the fares are very low, ridiculously low in India if you look it up. The cost platform is high, the fuel. Government has put 35–40% tax on it, and Indian domestic carriers are paying 35–40%.
No, but Mr. Bhargava,
paying worldwide.
But Mr. Bhargava, you know, Vijay Mallya's comment was, I'm building scale. I'm building scale, he said. Did he ask anyone when he went on an extravagant acquiring of Airbus aircraft? When he acquired companies? When he bought over Deccan? When he said, I'm building scale? No, you build scale at your timing. When you go kaput, then you want the government to come in.
No, Arnab, this is exactly what I'm saying. His business model was not suitable for the Indian conditions. For example, he said, I am rolling out a red carpet for my guests. The reality is worldwide, no airline, howsoever efficient it is, makes 2–3% profit in a good year. Now, how could you expect Kingfisher to be making enough money
but that's
to
his
sustain
decision.
itself in a long term
but that
when the fares are low?
But that is Vijay Mallya's decision.
That is entirely his fault.
That is Vijay Mallya's decision. And Air India has a crippling debt of 42,570 crore. Jet has a crippling debt of 13,400 crore. In fact, Kingfisher looks fairly good. It's got only about, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 crore. So,
no, you've got to also look at the size of the airline itself.
No, okay. Ashwini wants to come in. Welcome, Suhel. Yes, Ashwini Kakkar.
Thank you. Arnab, what I want to say is that the government has made mistake after mistake in this sector. If you look at the first few airlines that were started, look at East-West, it died a natural death. Look at Damania, that airline died. Then there was NEPC, that airline died too. So, you know, clearly the government has been taking crazy steps. I mean, 7 years ago when all these guys were brought in, it was very loudly agreed and between all the parties, and it was said that, you know, 25% foreign equity will be allowed. Even today, that reform bill is still pending in Parliament. I don't know where it's stuck, and it's been going on for a long, long time. In the meantime, what has the government gone and done? They've created Dubai as a hub, which has today become the largest hub for Indian travelers. How dare they take our country for a ride and, you know, I mean, leave all these Indian cities. Delhi is not our big hub. Bombay is not our big hub. Our biggest hub for international travel is Dubai. How can it be?
No,
you tell me.
Sir, so I want to get in. So I want to get one contrary voice. Suhel, let me come into you. Now Vijay Mallya says we are going to sort all this out in 4 months. How is he to be taken at face value? Look at the past history. How do we believe these tall claims?
I think you have to understand Vijay Mallya in two contexts. Context one is he's not wet under the ears. He's running one of the most profitable liquor and spirits businesses in India. So he's not a flawed businessman. Number two, he's understood the aviation sector, and as Ashwini very rightly said, Arnab, there are some real critical issues. You know, I served on the British Airways board. I can tell you from a global perspective, the irrational taxation even today that exists in this country on aviation turbine fuel, the handling fees at some of our airports which are higher than Heathrow and JFK, these are ridiculous costs.
No, I want to contest what you said.
Intervention.
No, Suhel, I want to contest what you said. I want to contest your first point.
Aviation expert.
No, your first defense tonight.
Jitendra Bhargava.
No, 1 second. Suhel, I'm contesting your first point tonight. Then I'm going to a consumer expert. Suhel, you say Vijay Mallya understands the airline business, understands the aviation business?
No, I said he runs a very profitable liquor and spirits business.
No, the liquor business has nothing to do with aviation.
The business of business.
How can you say the liquor business has anything to do with aviation?
So, no. Your question to me was, how should we believe what Vijay Mallya says that in 4 months he'll sort things out? I'm saying the guy runs profitable businesses.
Well, sure.
So he also said,
Suhel,
he's got a CEO who's very, very good.
No, he also said on September 20, I think he said this during the acquisition of, in fact, Captain Gopinath, who's on with us tonight. I think it was acquired in about late 2007. At that time, I think he issued a clear statement saying, I'm going to serve the low-fare segment with improved financial prospects. And Kingfisher will serve the business travel segment, and Air Deccan will continue to serve the low-fare segment, but with improved financial prospects for both the carriers. Did he or did he not say that, Suhel? He said that in 2007.
Of course.
So now?
In fact, you're so right. He said that in 2007. What followed was the meltdown in 2008, where almost every airline across the world saw shrinking of air traffic. Gopinath will bear me out. Jitendra will bear me out. The other problem, Arnab, is you come from that region. I'm a huge admirer of that region. Today, the government has to incentivize airlines to fly to the northeast. That's how meagerly connected the northeast is, and several other areas in this country. If you do not have a state carrier which is robust, and Air India isn't, what are you going to do? Private carriers, if they are incentivized and forced to carry passengers...
No, but Suhel, I want to understand your argument. Suhel, you're the first person today when there's a bailout package discussed for Air India, for example. You say it's not the business of governments to bail out Air India. They don't know how to manage their operations. They are defunct. They should be closed down. But you have a different standard. You have a different standard, Suhel. You have a different standard for Vijay Mallya. I want to get in Mohammed Salim. Do you agree with this argument? Mohammed Salim.
Absolutely.
Mohammed Salim.
Let me tell you. Oh, sorry.
Mohammed Salim. Mohammed Salim, what do you think of what Suhel Seth's argument is like? Okay, I don't think I have the audio line with Mohammed Salim.
Arnab, I want to step in here.
No, 1 minute. Arnab, let me finish the point.
No, okay. No, Ashwini Kakkar made an intervention. Let him complete. Then I'm coming to Captain Gopinath. Yes.
But
yeah, you see, if you see,
but I thought you were bringing me.
Also making losses. If you look at SpiceJet, it's making losses. If you look at Jet Airways, it's making losses. If you look at Kingfisher, it's making losses. 5-6 airlines have already disappeared. You know, our landing, navigation, parking charges are the highest in the world. With the already high fuel prices, if you are going to load those with 30% additional, And for example, in Kerala, there's close to 40% tax on air turbine fuel.
But I have a fundamental question. I have a fundamental question.
Because I tell you,
Ashwini Kakkar, I have a fundamental question as a taxpayer.
One sec. I want to say to you that, this country, people need to be transported not only because they are traveling for business.
1 minute.
People need to be traveling because they are sick. People are cancer patients. Right. People are traveling for their weddings, for all kinds of things.
1 minute. You're trying to make Kingfisher sound like a charity operation, which I'm certain that it is not. My simple question is, and I go to Mohammed Salim. Suhel said, I'm coming to you. My question is, let's take HPCL, BPCL. These are the companies which just 10 days back, Mamta almost withdrew support over the increase in petrol prices, and they said, we are so burdened, we cannot carry on, run our companies today anymore unless we further burden the Aam Aadmi and the common man. Are these not the same companies, Mohammed Salim, that continue to give credit to airlines despite huge outstanding dues? What is the cost and value of those outstanding dues? Mohammed Salim.
When they spend money for the poor, this is subsidies. And when they spend money for Kingfishers, passage is there, that is incentives. And I'm saying this because Mallya had a business projection, and now in the open sky policies, so many companies came. Someone else was also mentioning East West, Modi Loop, Damania. So government is having special treatment for Kingfisher because extravaganza. He tried to build a brand equity and is cross-subsidizing another liquor company. Kingfisher is a brand. It's an advertisement. Taking important people to South Africa for all luxurious things, sponsoring Formula 1. You don't have any objection. When you talk about food subsidy for the malnourished children, this subsidy. And when you talk about helping Kingfisher, it is bailout. These are nomenclatures. But actually, in the new era, you told that government has no business in business. So they came for the profit and openness policy. Air India was forced for operating in Northeast for decades, for evacuation, Gulf evacuation.
Yes.
Air India, government decided to purchase, procurement and or delay. Even 320 was grounded for the government's political reason.
But the minister says, answer the one question. The minister says, Mohammed Salim, the minister says, Minister says, I cannot let I can't let this airline just shut down. We can't let the aviation industry shut down.
The rich and the dirty rich.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, Suhel said, before I get your response, I want to speak to Dr. Misra, because Dr. Misra, everybody's shooting over the consumer's shoulder tonight. Ashwini Kakkar said it's poor people, average citizens who need it. So does Suhel say it. Bejon Misra.
Arnab, every consumer pays in full the price which is demanded from the consumer.
Yes.
So whether it's tax money, whether it's the landing fee, all the cost is borne by the consumer and paid in advance to the airline to do business in a profitable manner. And I'm very happy that Captain Gopinath is with us. First, let me salute Captain Gopinath because he is the one who brought in budget airlines in our country and showed how even a budget airline can make profit.
Precisely.
And I'm happy that he made his money and went out, and now he is showing how he can
made a profit.
Bring in parcels at a much cheaper cost than what India Post is doing. So we are waiting again as consumers to get that value for money. But what I want to tell everybody in the panel is that we as consumers, we pay, and we pay for efficiency, we pay for businesses which are going to give us profit and dividend. And we as consumers also very willingly pay that price because we want the industry to grow. But we don't want such mismanagements. Now Kingfisher did a co-branding with their liquor company and promoted that brand at the cost of consumers' money. Now they are selling liquor and the Kingfisher brand is doing very well.
But is that the issue?
The airline might not be doing business, but their brand is doing a great business. So let them bring that money from those liquor business and put them into this airline business. And that is where the consumers want it to happen. Because we have patronized building that brand. We have paid for that brand. Now let that brand pay and bail them out. And I find it ridiculous that the government is coming and instead of trying to talk about how to bail out Air India, he is trying to say that he is trying to bail out
strong point tonight. Bejon Misra.
The government needs to become more serious in terms of how to utilize public money.
No, 1 minute. You're getting 3 rebuts tonight. You're getting rebuts from Ashwini Kakkar, Suhel Seth, and I'm first going to Mr. Bhargava. Yes, Mr. Bhargava. Your rebut. Don't shoot over the consumer's shoulder, says Bejon Misra. Don't shoot over our shoulders.
We need to take certain factors into consideration. Aviation industry was elitist 20 years ago.